iOS 26.6 landed on your iPhone this week, and on paper, it's the most boring update of the year. Bug fixes, security patches. That's the headline everyone ran with. But there's one thing buried in this update that's quietly the most important change Apple has made all year, and almost nobody's talking about it. Let's get into it. Here's what we're covering. What's actually in it now that it's out, the anti-theft feature everyone's excited about, and the one change that matters more than all of it combined. Stick around for that last part. First, the timing. iOS 26.6 went public on July 27th, so if you're watching this, it's already sitting in your software update screen right now. Go check. Now, let's set expectations honestly, because a lot of channels overhyped this one. iOS 26.6 is a point release. It is not iOS 27. There's no redesign, no headline feature you'll brag about to your friends. Officially, Apple's release notes come down to bug fixes, performance improvements, and security updates. So if that's all it was, this would be a 30-second video. But it's not all it is, because two things in here are worth your attention. One that's flashy, and one that's genuinely important. Let's start with the one that's getting all the headlines, the anti-snatch feature. Here's the problem it's built for. Phone snatching has exploded. In London alone, police logged over 117,000 phone thefts in a single year, and iPhones were the single biggest target, roughly 71,000 of them. This is somebody riding past on a bike, grabbing the phone right out of your hand while you're mid-text, and gone before you react. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Apple's new feature is designed to fight exactly that moment. The idea is that your iPhone can detect the snatch itself, the sudden, violent motion of being ripped out of your hand, and lock itself instantly. And the way it does that is smarter than you'd expect. It's not one sensor. It reportedly combines the accelerometer and gyroscope to feel that grab-and-run motion, your Apple Watch to notice the phone suddenly moving away from your wrist, plus geofencing and familiar Wi-Fi, so it knows the difference between you tossing your phone on the couch at home and a stranger sprinting off with it on the street. The moment it triggers, the phone locks and kicks in stolen device protection. That means the thief can't get into your passwords, your cards, or change your Apple account without biometrics and built-in time delays. Your data's sealed before they've crossed the street. Here's the honest caveat though. This is shown up in the code, but there's a real chance the full feature doesn't switch on in 26.6 itself. Apple's been laying the groundwork, and it may flip on a little later. So temper the excitement. The plumbing's here, the faucet might come next. Okay, now the change nobody's putting in a thumbnail, and the one I'd argue matters most. iOS 26.6 quietly optimizes your iPhone's Spotlight Index to prepare for iOS 27. I know, Spotlight Index optimization sounds like the most skippable line in the release notes. Stay with me, because here's why it's a big deal. iOS 27's flagship feature is the all-new AI-supercharged Siri. And that Siri only works if your iPhone builds a fresh, deep index of everything on it. Your apps, messages, files, all of it. When developers first tested iOS 27, that indexing process took forever. We're talking a week, sometimes longer, of your phone grinding in the background before the new Siri actually felt fast. So what is Apple doing? They're using 26.6 to do a big chunk of that indexing work now, ahead of time. Which means when iOS 27 lands this fall, your phone isn't starting from zero. The heavy lifting is already done. Your upgrade is smoother, and the new Siri is ready faster. That's the real story of this update. iOS 26.6 isn't the finale. It's Apple quietly setting the stage for the biggest iPhone software launch in years. A couple of smaller notes before the verdict. There's a new alert in Contacts that warns you if you hit the maximum number of blocked numbers, which is 20,000. So if you're getting close to that, respect. And as always, there are security patches under the hood, which are the boring reason you should actually install this. So who should update and when? Honestly, everybody, and soon. It's been out since the 27th, and by now the early reports are in, so you're not walking into surprise bugs. There's no dramatic new feature waiting for you, but because it's carrying security fixes and preloading the work for iOS 27, there's no reason to sit this one out. Open Settings, tap Update, and forget about it. So here's my honest take. iOS 26.6 is a boring update doing important work. The anti-theft feature grabs the headlines, but the Spotlight change is the one that actually shapes your next 12 months on iOS. This is Apple clearing the runway for iOS 27. Have you updated yet, or are you waiting it out? And what do you most want to see in iOS 27? Drop it in the comments, I read every one. Subscribe to Tech Weekly so you don't miss a single update. Every beta, every release, every feature, we cover it the moment it drops. I'll see you in the next one.